Welcome back to Liable Zest. Today we are going to be doing a Pilates for posture workout. I know I tend to get very hunched over because I do a lot of desk work and a lot of my tasks tend to be in front of me. So I tend to kind of lift my shoulders and round myself forward during my day-to-day activities. And what we are going to do today is just open the chest, lengthen and stretch out those front muscles that we find in the front of our chest, and we're strengthening those back extensor muscles and those scap muscles just to be able to open up and lengthen that spine. So let's get straight into it. We are going to be starting in an all fours position. Remember, in this all fours position, you want to maintain that neutral pelvic positioning. You don't want to be too pushed out. You don't want to be too tucked in. You just want that happy medium, that those wrists are comfortably below those shoulders and those knees are comfortably below those hips, making sure that your knees are a fist width apart and right below those hips. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale, opening that left shoulder, lifting that left hand up towards the ceiling, rotating from the level of the waist, and then inhaling, dropping your arm through those other limbs, allowing that body to stretch out. Exhale, opening up. Allow that body to do its work. Feel that stretch, feel that mobility. We're going to do 2 more of these, and lifting up. Exhale, rotating through those limbs. And last one, we're opening up and reaching forward, extending towards the wall in front of you, and slowly coming back down and leaning into rest position, pushing those arms into the ground. Exhale, lifting back up. Deep inhale. Exhale, opening that right hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, slowly coming through and threading through those limbs and slowly coming back up, rotating at the level of the spine as we keep those hips facing the floor. Keep going. We've got 1 more after this one. Just allow that spine to stretch out, allow that neck to stretch out as you follow your hand with your eyes and reaching forward and extending, coming back into that rest position and leaning all the way down. Deep breath in and exhale, coming back into that all fours. So this one is our cat stretch, but I really want you to focus on this one today. I want you to make sure that when we're opening that chest, we are stabilizing with that lower pelvic area. So we're really just focusing on that midsection from that mid back up to that neck and head. So we're starting in that neutral position, and I want you to take that deep inhale before we just lift that head and chest up. So you're drawing through that midsection of your back and pushing those vertebrae up and around. And deep breath. We're working really hard to keep those gaps drawn towards each other, slowly coming back down. And now we are rotating from that lower back, that mid back, to your lower back, tucking in that pelvis and then slowly coming back. So if you can imagine it, we've divided the body into 2 sections. The upper section where we open that chest as that lower section stays stable, and then coming back down, and then the lower section as we tuck in that pelvis as that upper section of that body stays stable. So working really hard to open and slowly coming down and tucking in that lower back. Let's do 1 more as we stabilize, getting that neutral pelvic position to open that chest. You can see some of us won't be able to get as much of a range of motion because of our tightness, but we want to make sure that we have that mobility before we get those activations. And then slowly lean back into that rest position. I want you opening those knees shoulder width apart and really drawing that chest down as you open your hips. Lengthen that body, draw those shoulders away from your body, almost distracting your shoulders. And slowly walking your hands all the way to the left hand side as you open the chest on your right hand side. And Again, walking towards the other side as you open your ribs and chest onto that left. And slowly coming back to center and lifting yourself into a seated position. I want you to just sit comfortably with your legs either in a crisscross position or the way I'm sitting. We're going to lengthen our hands out into a T position, and I want you to rotate that right hand, and as we lower that right hand down, we are lifting that left hand up, and we're just reaching. Imagine there's a rope around that left hand pulling you towards that right hand side, and a rope around that right hand pulling you towards that other side, and you're reaching forward and coming back to center, and we're doing that movement in the opposite, so bringing that left behind as we lift that right over. And again, we want to draw those shoulders and scaps down the back. We're sucking in that belly. I can feel like I'm getting quite an activation during this workout, during this particular exercise, even though it's more of a mobility stretch. And let's do one more. Bring those arms out and over. And we're slowly coming back to center, bringing arms back into that T position, dropping that right hand down to the floor and reaching up and across and extending that left arm up and over and holding, and slowly coming back up to center to do that same thing with the other side, reaching over and slowly coming back up into a seated position in the center of your mat. We've got one more mobility exercise before we progress into our activations. So we are going to start with our hands behind our backs. So we are going to start with our hands interlaced behind our heads, and I want us to slowly draw those gaps down your back. You're pushing your knees into the ground, you're flexing those ankles. Already I can feel a little bit of a neural stretch just sitting in this position. Let's focus on lengthening that spine. Drawing belly to spine. Let's inhale. Exhale, tucking in head, neck, and chest. All the way down, just really focusing on tucking in and allowing that spine to stretch, allow that neck to stretch. But I want you to keep those elbows lifted and those scaps drawn together. Let's roll ourselves forward as we draw that chest towards those knees and slowly opening those elbows towards the ceiling, and we're going to hold for 3, 2, 1, drawing those elbows back to the floor and rolling ourselves back up into seated. Deep breath in, exhale, tucking in head, neck, and chest, all the way down, reaching chest towards those knees, extending, keeping those ankles flexed, knees to the floor. We're opening those elbows away from each other towards the ceiling, and slowly rolling ourselves back up. And last one, we're going to hold for a little bit longer here, tucking in head, neck, and chest, all the way down, reaching forward, extending, now bringing arms into T position and reaching forward, bringing arms overhead and extending that back and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly rolling down and stacking that vertebra, keeping arms facing each other. We're going to just open that left shoulder up and around and just drawing each arm away from each other and back to center to do the same thing with the other side, and opening and drawing each arm away from each other and slowly coming back to center to do one more back extension exercise, tucking in head, neck, and chest, reaching forward, arms are in front of us this time, and extending that back and holding, drawing those gaps down your body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly reaching forward and rolling yourself back up into that seated position. Let's draw our feet into the floor. I want your ankles to be 1.5 feet away from your glutes and a fist distance apart from one another. And we're going to round that back. Deep breath in, exhale, extend and open that chest, looking up towards the ceiling, opening up. And let's do 2 more of these, rounding and opening. And last one, tucking in and extending up. From here, let's slowly extend arms out in front of us, extending those legs out and ankles are together, feet are pointed. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, reaching yourself forward to extend towards those toes. Deep breath. Exhale, slowly rolling yourself down all the way onto a supine position, making sure that you are comfortably in the center of that mat. We're going to lift that right leg up into tabletop and then that left leg. And what we're going to do now is just focus on getting that activation of that tummy. So let's draw that tummy down, drawing those scaps. We're opening that chest, making sure that that neck is in that neutral position, keeping that tabletop position. We are placing our hands on our sides and I want our palms facing that body. And we're going to lift arms up towards the ceiling and overhead and slowly coming back up and back towards your sides. So this may seem like a very basic movement, but what I want you to focus on is the connection between your scaps and your core. So your scap muscles, as your arms are moving up and down, you are sucking belly to spine and you're making sure that those ribs aren't flaring and that those shoulders aren't coming up to your ears. So you want that control. There is a beautiful relationship between the activation of your core muscles and your scap muscles. And if you can synchronize the muscles working together as a team, you'll find your capabilities in maintaining good posture a lot easier. Let's do one more, reaching over and slowly coming back to overhead, and we're bending those elbows onto the floor. And now we are going to draw those hands towards the mat. So we're internally rotating those elbows towards the floor, coming back up to center, and then extending them up towards the ceiling and back. And we're going to do a few of these before we progress, keeping core tight. And if you want to challenge as you lower those arms, you can lower those legs back up and extend and bend and lowering. Let's do 2 more of these, keeping core tight, and you can feel those shoulders getting a nice stretch as you internally rotate those arms and slowly back up. Next one, we are going to lower those arms into an external rotation back to center, and as we extend those arms, we're extending those legs, keeping core tight and extend, making sure that that chin is comfortably tucked in below your head. So you just want that, don't want it lifted up or too tucked in. We just want it comfortably in that neutral position. And up, and we're going to hold here, keeping those legs where they are. We're pointing those palms to face each other, and we are drawing down and up. So I want those elbows to come all the way down towards that trunk as we draw our hands down and up. That's 3. We're doing 3 more, keeping core tight. 4, keeping those elbows. So as you draw those elbows down, you really focus on keeping those scaps together. 2 and 1, and slowly bending those knees and hugging those knees towards your chest. Let's turn over onto our tummies. We are going to make sure that our scaps are drawn down that back. I want you to lengthen that spine. We're going to lift both legs off the floor. Let's activate that tummy, tucking in that pelvic floor, squeezing those glutes, lifting those legs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly down. We're going to lift our elbows onto the mat, and I want you to also just draw those shoulders down that back, keeping that core tight. And we're going to hold in this position, just getting used to that positioning of those scaps where they should be, keeping that neck in neutral. And we're just going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting right leg slightly off the floor for 5, 4, 3, core tight, 2, 1. Dropping the right leg, lifting left leg and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly dropping both shoulders down, dropping that left leg down, getting that chest onto the floor, bringing your hands to your sides. Neck is in neutral. We are slowly going to open that chest as we lift head, then neck and chest off the floor, keeping core tight, making sure that you're activating your core and your back extensor muscles, not using your glutes to do the work. We are rolling and lifting ourselves up, and deep breath in, exhale slowly, coming back down. That's 1, and lifting up and holding, and slowly drawing back down. We're going to do 6 of these, drawing up, 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 and slowly back down. We've got 2 more, controlling up. Inhale to pause, exhale down. On this last one, we're going to stay in the air. Inhale, exhale, lifting up, and I want you to squeeze those gaps towards each other, slight bend in those elbows, and pushing your hands into your sides. And we're going to hold, looking in front of you, keeping that core tight for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly coming back down. Deep breath in, exhale, lifting back up and squeezing those elbows. But now I want you to extend and bend your elbows as you draw those scaps down that back as we open our chests. Keep looking in front of you, keeping core tight. And last one. And we're going to hold in this position as we lift those legs slightly off the floor for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly coming back down, bringing arms around and up to lift yourselves into rest position for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back into that prone position. Tummy and chest are on the floor. We are going to bring our hands back to our sides. We're inhaling, exhaling, lifting head, neck and chest off the floor and bringing those arms up towards the ceiling. Now we're just going to do little pulsations of those hands towards one another as we keep that chest open, drawing the scaps down that back. And let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, squeezing the hands together as we lift those legs off the floor for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly coming back down, bringing arms overhead, neck is in neutral. We are going to lift our arms off the floor and legs, and we are going to do our Y to W. So we're squeezing our elbows towards each other and then extending. And as we squeeze down and extend up, we are aware of our movement of those shoulder blades as our elbows go from bent to extended. And squeezing down. And let's do 3 more. And 1. And 2. And we're going to squeeze here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Getting into more of a T position with those elbows. We're inhaling, exhaling, extending from W to T. And that's 3. Keep working. If you feel like you're losing control and activation, rather stop, reset. You're reteaching your body how to activate those muscles that have started to lose some activation. And last one. So you want to have control and precision of the activation of your muscles and your movements. Let's slowly drop ourselves down and lift into that rest position. I'm really feeling my back has worked so nicely, feeling so good. Let's push the shoulders into the ground and bring that pelvis towards the floor as we open that chest. And lifting yourself up into a seated position. I want you to place your right hand behind the back, and I want you to place your left hand just over that head, drawing that right elbow down. We're opening that neck and allowing that stretch. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looking down and under that left shoulder and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly changing over to do the same thing on the other side, allowing that neck to open up and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looking down and under and holding. The stretch comes with the drawing down of that lower elbow. You're not applying too much pressure, it's just a light pressure to that head. And last one, we're going to bring our arms into T position and then just looking over that right shoulder and following, looking as far as you can over, coming back to T point to do that same thing towards that left. Opening and looking over that right, opening and looking over that left shoulder. Slowly coming back to seated and just doing a few shoulder rolls back and a few shoulder rolls forward. Thanks again for joining me on the mat today. I hope you are feeling that activation into those upper back extensor muscles. Hope you're feeling good and ready for a positive and exciting day. I will see you in our next video.